That 3 kilometre marker, and any problems that riders have now, mechanicals or crashes or alike, they'll be given the same time as the winner. But of course, let's hope it's a clean run into the finish line, as the trio out front, they've still got the horsepower, they've still got something in the legs, Pippa.
They haven't fallen apart completely, but here come UAE now. Very different level of intent to close down that gap.
UAE Team Emirates take over from Bahrain victorious.
And they're freewheeling, so that shows they're not completely committed. Oh, they are committed, but they're not completely flat out. As soon as if you're freewheeling inside the last 3 kilometers, somebody's able to close a gap to you.
You just saw Ericsson there, just missing a turn, letting Fedeli in front of him. A little bit of freewheeling, perhaps.
There's a little
trying to pull a bit of bluff.
A little bit of gamesmanship going on there. It's just pretending that they can't pull anymore, and then they're probably going to try and jump them near the end.
Coming into this finish, into the final 1800 metres. The wind blowing onto the right-hand shoulders of the riders. It's picked up throughout the day, and that time gap at 8 seconds, it goes up by a second, 9 seconds. Can this breakaway trio hang on? Is it too late for the peloton, or still time?
That looked bigger than the 9 seconds it was showing there. There's going to have to do a massive acceleration inside this last kilometre to close the gap. And remember, that this isn't eight-man teams, it's 7 riders, and it's not 7 riders who are, going to do a lead out. It's going to be close.
It's going to be very, very close indeed. The breakaway, they took a gamble inside that final 20 kilometres to try and form the breakaway. And Tudor Pro Cycling were one of the teams who were animating the finish and animating the final 40, 50 kilometres on each of the non-classified climbs. They were trying to send one of their riders up the road, and finally they succeeded with Lucas Ericsson, the Swedish national road race champion. They bear this right-hand turn, and the peloton, they can see the breakaway trio in their sights. It's still Bahrain victorious who are on the front, and Mati Mohoric, the local rider, is on the front at the moment. He's trying to pull things back together for Phil Bauhaus, and in the radio just behind, it's Tudor Pro Cycling who are on the radio to Lucas Ericsson to just tell him what is happening up ahead. And here, this is where the sprint starts to open up. The breakaway is caught inside 250 metres to go, and Jaco and Lula, they've had the control throughout the whole stage. They launched Dylan Groenewegen for the sprint, but here comes Phil Bauhaus coming down the centre of the road. Is Bauhaus going to get in? He's going to be close on the line. A throw for the line. Groenewegen thinks he's got it.
Yep, Groenewegen got that. Yeah, and you can see that how much the difference made when the sprinters fully commit to it. That lead out for 500 metres just closed that 8-second gap instantly.
Groenewegen wins stage 1 of the Tour of Slovenia.
Not as comfortably as he thought he was going to be.
That would have taken a lot out of Groenewegen. You can just see him.
That hurt. We think that these guys just ride in the wheels, and then they do 300 metres flat out, and it's okay. But he's been out there 190 kilometres, and that was a hard sprint.
A hard sprint, but it smiles for Groenewegen, who takes his 5th victory of the season. His 68th professional career victory. Well, he left the Dauphiné early, Pippa. You wouldn't do that unless you wanted to make sure that you came into this race.
Played their cards right from the start.
This was into the final kilometre, final 500 metres, and there was still a gap.
There's still 5-6 seconds in front, and then we see that lead up from
Mohoric,
and it closes a couple of seconds, and then the sprinters, see the lead up man comes 10, 15 kilometres an hour faster.
Bauhaus on the wheel of Groenewegen, Colnaghi trying to come up quick. And talk us through this moment here.
So Groenewegen committed fully now, and Bauhaus coming, but he just runs out. He doesn't have the horsepower that Groenewegen's got. And you can see that those two are 10 meters in front of the kind of second string, not well-known sprinters.
Schelling sprinting for Bora Hansgrohe there. Moschetti looks like taking third for Q36.5. Groenewegen taking stage one of the Tour of Slovenia, closely challenged by Phil Bauhaus of Bahrain Victorious. In the end, comes down to half a bike length, and over the last 20 minutes or so, we've been having a few sound issues, so apologies for those viewers who are having some sound issues with the coverage. And there is the top 10. Dylan Groenewegen takes stage one ahead of Phil Bauhaus. Matteo Moschetti taking third. Annie Arlowski with fourth for Human Powered Health. Gonzalez of Caio Royal with the fifth. Ida Schelling in sixth. Brun, the birthday boy, in seventh. Barancheta in eighth. Barthelo in ninth. And Canal in 10th. Say, synonym for health resort. As we see the overall general classification, this Dylan Groenewegen leads ahead of Phil Bauhaus by 4 seconds. Matteo Moschetti in 6th. Raul Garcia Piena with 8 seconds. Diego Ulisi in 5th. Annie Argowski in 6th. Gonzalez in 7th. Schelling in 8th.